Hi everybody, I'm Sabrina and welcome to my channel. I just wanted to jump on here really quickly and just give you some information that a client was really asking me about earlier. Just got home from work and as always, throw on my sweats, my zip up, and I like to chill before I have to head into all the kids' activities. But anyway, enough about me. This is about you. This is about a channel that I've dedicated to helping you grow and helping you to learn and get through some really challenging times. And since it's a little nicer out here today, we've had some really bad weather here in Michigan lately, and it hasn't been much of a spring, but I'm enjoying this somewhat nicer temperature today and some sunshine. So I wanted to take advantage of it. Um, so again, here I am, and welcome to my channel. But let's just jump right into it, okay? So I had a client ask me, Sabrina, it is very, very difficult to try to deal with my co-parent when they're being such a jerk or during such a heated divorce or such a trying time. How do I do that? How do I take the high road? And I'm sick of taking the high road because I feel like I did that throughout the entire marriage. And now I have to be the same person to take the high road and the only one who always seems to take the high road and get the short end of the stick. I get that a lot. And unfortunately, oftentimes in relationships, usually the reason why a relationship heads to divorce because one person is usually the giver more than the other. In a wonderful dynamic, it is much more balanced. It's much more even. Both are givers, both are takers. There's times and places for both. When one person needs a little more support, that's when your partner is supposed to meet you. And then oftentimes when you need more support, your partner should meet you too. It's more balance. But what I have seen over the years, and also in my own situations with my own relationships and my own circumstances or my own friends that I see in these types of dynamics, the one person who is usually the giver tends to be the giver throughout. When I say throughout, I mean over time in the relationship, throughout the divorce process, and then even after the divorce, if there's children involved and you're dealing with a co parent. It's usually the one who tends to give, who tends to be the compromiser, who tends to be the one to concede more often than not. So, how do you break this cycle? How do you get out of this dynamic? And better, how do you change that dynamic during the course of the marriage so that you don't end up in divorce? And a lot of times that deals with you, the person. Sometimes when you overgive or you're hyper vigilant, it's because of your own wounds, your own internal wounds that you have, you know, you've taken on this responsibility. Sometimes it starts as a young child. Usually your personality is formed, well, always, most often your personality is formed between the ages of 1 and 7 and or even 0 and 7. And during that time period, and some people even say it's before you were born, ancestral, wounds or ancestral things, or even in the womb. There's a lot of different schools of thought. But for practicality speaking, and for this channel, let's just say your personality is formed by the age of 7. Then that continues to get reinforced because you are in that identity of that person who is the overgiver. And so your relationship patterns tend to follow that same dynamic. Over time, your beingness, if you will, gets mirrored back to you. That pattern continues, that gets reflected in other relationships, and that's just who you identify as being. And over time, that continues on and on. And if you're fortunate, you end up with people who are giving as well. And so that's a beneficial relationship, mutually beneficial relationship. I don't edit on this channel. I don't have the time. So I just tell you as it is. But anyway, I'll continue. But so what ends up happening is you repeat those patterns, and then you find people that you either have to manage, or you feel like you have to give to earn your love or earn your, enoughness or your good enoughness. And sometimes too, it's the hypervigilance of determining what does that person need, or over giving or over catering. And I was one of those people, and that comes from feelings of being unsafe, not being seen, feeling like you have to give and to earn your love or earn their love for you. And a lot of times, these people tend to be with more selfish oriented people because they don't care to reciprocate, or they will take it for granted, or just assume you're going to be this way, or assume you enjoy doing this. And many times the giver does enjoy it. But then over time, they end up getting this victim mentality, or they feel resentful, and they start to resent the role that they're taking in that relationship. But it's not the other person's fault. And I'm not blaming you for being the overgiver. I'm just saying, once you understand this dynamic and how it plays out, you'll be able to then reframe and kind of take a step back and say, oh, okay, well, I don't necessarily have to do this to get love. I'm going to do what's right for me in this moment. And if you're not sure, if you don't really know because you've never done it before, all it takes is a little bit of awareness. Maybe for the next few days, just kind of observe yourself. Observe how you are in a situation, and observe how other people are. And if you're the one always picking up all the dishes, or, in a huge gathering, and you're the one that, has to make sure everybody is attended to, or you're the one in the kitchen doing the dishes all night and everyone else is sitting enjoying themselves, maybe don't do that. Maybe just sit back and relax and enjoy the conversation too. Try to step out of your comfort zone. Some people like to do that, and they go and tend to the kitchen because they don't want to be a part of the mix. They do that to hide, they do that for safety. But I'm just asking you to perhaps explore a little bit, maybe get out of your comfort zone a little bit, because you're here for a reason. You sought this channel out because something inside of you said you're not happy, or you're a little dissatisfied with where you are in your relationship, where you are in the divorce process, where you are in your own life. And because of that, I'm just asking you to maybe challenge yourself a little bit. Step outside of your comfort zone. Observe how you react. Observe how you are. Observe your observations. We as human beings have that ability. No other creature can observe their observations. No other person can step back. No other being, can step back and say, who am I being in this moment? Right? And when you can learn to stretch yourself a little bit and ask yourself, okay, what do I want in this moment? What do I feel like? What do I feel like I deserve? And you don't have to have an attitude about it. You don't have to be bitchy or witchy or whatever, or rude or an ass. Just be calm and just observe. And you can simply say no or yes. You can lean into whatever feels right in that moment. And you don't have to over explain. Let's just say in a divorce situation, the other party wants something, or is demanding something, or is not turning over their financials, for instance. And you're the one that's always doing what's right, always abiding by the court rules, always abiding by the orders, always turning over the kids when you need to on their parenting time. You're on time every time, and they're always late. If something like that comes up in your reality, without blowing up or reacting or having a huge fit about it, just say, no, that's not tolerated. I won't tolerate that anymore. And if you get a reaction from them, then go to your lawyer. You don't have to fight those fights. You can maintain your dignity. You can maintain your strength internally, and do what is necessary to protect your rights and your interests in your case. But don't blow up, because that's not dignified. If you blow up, okay, that's fine in the moment. But don't put anything in writing that you don't want everybody else to see. If you put something in writing, assume that the courts will see it, all the attorneys will see it, and anyone else on social media might see it. So just be mindful of that. But the next time you feel the need to control or manage or overgive to prove something, just ask yourself, who am I proving what to? What do I need to prove? I am perfect and whole and complete just as I am. Just because you're you, you are perfect and whole and complete. The only fixing that you need to do in any given moment is really how you look at things, how you look at yourself, how you look at life, how you look at where you are. And let's just say you think you made a ton of mistakes leading up to this place, leading up to this point. Well, we're here now. So instead of constantly dwelling on the past, instead of constantly bringing that past into the present and beating yourself up over it time and time again, just say, I forgive, I release, I forgive myself. I'm moving on. I want a better future for myself and for my children. I want a better life for myself. I'm not going to dwell on these things that I really cannot change. I don't want to dwell on these things any longer. I want to do what's right for me. I want to do what's in my best interest. And by doing what's in your best interest, you will be doing what's in the best interest of everybody involved. Okay? Because this is your life and this is your reality. And I'll get into more of that later. But I didn't want to get too deep into all of this right now, but I just wanted to help you along this journey. And when I say too deep, I mean, there's lots of different layers of conscious creation. And I'm just scratching the surface right now. But while you're going through this crisis, what you think is a crisis, because nothing has meaning except the meaning that you give it, while you're going through this phase of your life, just ask yourself, what do I want? Once you take the time to figure out what you want, truly want, then start moving in that direction. Try to get a hold of your emotions because you're greater than your emotions. And you can allow yourself to go off if you need to. Nothing is broken. Nothing is, you didn't ruin anything by having a fit one day. But just be mindful. Be mindful of your actions. Be mindful of respecting yourself in this process. And just really, truly tune in to who you are and what you desire for your life moving forward. And once we really can narrow that down, because that's half the battle is finding out and figuring out what we want, what we truly desire. Once you do that, then you'll be in a much better position to act from that point. And when we act from that point, we still have to go within and say, okay, what is it that I need in this moment now? What do I desire? What do I, why am I trying to control everything outside of me? Because there's really nothing to control. The only person that you need to worry about is you. So when you let go and relinquish control of everyone and everything around you, that's when things start to shift a little bit. You release all of that, and then people will react and respond to you much differently. You will be very surprised how things tend to just sort of go with the flow much easier in your life. Once you go with the flow, things in your life start to flow much easier, much better. So I hope that added a little bit of wisdom to your day to day, guys. And, that's all I really have for now. But if you want to explore any of this further, please reach out to me. I'd love to work with you one on one, and I'd love to help you through this seemingly crisis of yours because it may seem so traumatic and awful, and I'm not diminishing what you're going through. I don't mean to say that your feelings aren't warranted. I'm just here to help you get perspective on really what matters in this life. And truly, what matters is you living your best life. All right, guys, that's it for now. Have a great day.